Hello. Hey guys. What's happening? How are you? It's Thom Filicia. I am hello. Hey guys. How are you? Hello and welcome. I am at a construction site, if you couldn't tell. I am in Coral Gables. I am in Florida. I'm wearing a mask because we have to now. So I just took it off. I'm in a guest house on my client's property in Coral Gables, and it's a really awesome, it's an amazing house actually. And I can give you a little sneak peek of what I'm doing, but let's just see. Let me see. Sound is good. Good. I was worried that sound wasn't going to be good because it's a little echoey, and I'm here, kind of doing my thing. And I wanted to. I'm in a guest house. We haven't even started the guest house yet. They're putting up paint swatches in here, and this is all getting gutted and ripped out and whatever. So we'll see. But the main house is we're installing a lot of stuff there, and we're finishing stuff and getting things ready, and kids have to go to school and all that good stuff. But enough about me and what I'm doing. Today we're going to speak to my buddy Dann Foley, who is at Designer Dann. And he has a design firm. He's in Palm Springs, and he's an awesome guy. I've known him for a bunch of years. He's done some TV stuff. He's got a firm that he has a partner. We'll talk about that. He's from the East Coast. He lives in Palm Springs. He's got some product line. So we're gonna have fun with Dann and see what he's up to. There he is. For Mr. Dann Foley. And we'll see where he is. I think he's going to be in Palm Springs. So that will be an interesting.
Here I am.
Dan, the man.
Tom, how are you?
I'm great. Well, I'm good. I'm good. I am in Florida. I'm in Coral Gables.
I just got back from Florida Sunday.
Where were you?
I was in Fort Myers. We have projects going on in Sarasota and Naples at the moment.
Got it. I do too.
Yeah.
I'm working in Naples also, and
all of it
here
beautiful.
and in North Miami, and
oh, nice.
so yeah, so a bunch of different things going on in Florida. We always love working in Florida. However, did you wear a mask when you were here?
The entire time. Entire time.
Well, I just took it off. Because I'm in now the guest house that we haven't really started doing anything with it just yet, because we're focused on the main house and getting it ready so that kids can go to school.
Go to school. I gotcha. I hear you.
Where are you right now?
I'm in Palm Springs at the moment. Like I said, got home Sunday, but I'm leaving for Vegas in just a few days too. Am I going to see you there for the market?
I'm not going to be there. This will be the first one that I'm not at.
Yeah, it's really, the whole thing is so iffy, right?
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
I'm doing a very large product launch, but we're
What
now
are you doing?
we're downgraded it to a soft launch and no party for.
Well, so I was launching new rugs. And
basically,
we were doing a new rug launch, but we decided to sort of downplay that in Vegas and and get ready for High Point, because we were concerned
that's our big focus too. It's going to have to be October. There's nothing we can do about it. We won't even have, though it's a very large launch of product, we won't even have everything. About 90% of it. I'll still be launching about 250 SKUs next week.
Right.
So, in all
but
categories.
wait, before we go on to that, hold on.
Okay.
Before we go on to that, I really want to give people, I love giving them a background, because, we have people watching right now, which I'm sure they're interested, as well as there's a lot of people that upload this and they want to find out sort of what's going on, why designers, how they found design, all that kind of stuff. So
sure.
I want to hear, I know you're a Philadelphia boy.
I am born and raised.
You are born and raised in Philadelphia. So tell me what that was like. Were you always interested in design? Or what was your childhood like? Were your parents creative? Did they support the process, like all that stuff?
Very true. So I was born and raised Philadelphia, suburban boy, mainline boy. So I have that whole Northeast sort of sensibility,
Right.
Quakers and all of that.
Yeah. Were you Quaker?
No.
No.
No, thank goodness. My clients who are Quakers, that's hard enough with the wallpaper peeling off the walls, and I can't deal with it. All the money in the world, but still carpet worn to the backing. So
yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's true. But listen, I had a great upbringing. Yes, my parents are creatives as well, and my grandparents, and very well traveled.
And what kind of creatives were they? What was their thing?
Well, I would say my grandfather was an entrepreneur and built an enormous business. But he was an artisan, and he was a woodworker and could draw, those kinds of things. My mother is a very creative person, and she's very creative, especially in the kitchen, culinary, baker, all of that. So I grew up around that and around people who saw the world as a great big place and traveled and experienced all of the time. So I felt
fun.
I have a very big story, a big exposure to the world growing up always.
So when you were little, when you were growing up, were you like, in addition to your family kind of being a little bit like, kind of interested, or let's say participating and being interested, how did that affect you as a young person? Were you like, was it so much fun? Was it overwhelming?
It was great fun. It was very, I was always very excited and excitable.
You still are, by the way.
My parents would love to tell you now, if they were here, that they were afraid to go out to dinner, because when they did, they would come home and I would have rearranged all the furniture in the house. So
I did the same thing. So, yeah.
Who doesn't, right? I mean, who doesn't?
Or I just took things I didn't like and put them somewhere that you
Absolutely.
didn't know where it was.
And I will say that my mother had a decorator while I was growing up who did the house several times. One time because it burned down, but
we had that. Oh my God, that's so weird. We had a major house fire, and
it took out a good portion.
There was a woman that helped my mom, and there was also a designer, and there was also my mom was like super into it as well. But it was fun. I mean, not the fire part, but I do remember
that's true.
Designing our rooms and having having a little bit of input.
Yeah, so though I was really interested in it, my mother allowed me to have that exposure through her designer on multiple occasions. I still remember her. Kathy Bowman was her name in Philadelphia, long since retired. But the thing that impressed me about her was, beyond the creative, she was such a professional. And that was a great inspiration to me, realizing that I could do what I love to do and be a professional at it.
Right.
And the way that I would run my firm and treat my clients and command respect.
Yeah. Well, mine was really simple. She drove a Saab 900 SPG, and I thought that was the favorite car in the world. So I was like, oh my God, I could have my favorite car and do something that looks like a lot of fun. And I'm super interested in it already. I feel like I could be helpful. So it was definitely going in that direction. So you always knew you were interested in design. How old were you when you knew that?
Gosh, honestly, as early as I can remember, I was always a kid who was fascinated by classic film. Old films, Saturday afternoons, and then Turner Classic Movies, TCM came around.
Yeah.
To this day, it's still on every station or every TV in my house. You'll find it on, and that was always very inspirational. Still is.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that my parents said was, okay, if we're going to get serious, meaning we're going to let you pursue this, you're going to have to do it as a professional and go to school and get a degree and do the study and all of that.
Yeah.
So I did all of that first. And then I started my firm as an extra credit project my senior year of college. And
wait a minute.
Whoa.
That's so crazy. So I did the same thing. I also studied it and the whole thing, and have a degree in interior design, and I was same thing. My parents were like totally all for it, which it's so interesting to me when I talk to people and they tell me that they wanted to be an architect, or they wanted to be a painter, or and the parents were like, no, we're not going to support that unless you go to school for business or something. I'm like, really? I don't think that's so crazy. But anyways, that's really great that your parents were so supportive. I love that. And so your senior year, Your thesis project was your
Of
company?
design school. It was. I started my own firm, and I worked with my professor on it very closely. And she had said to me, "This is a great idea. I want you to do it. I know you're capable of it." But she said, we have to be serious about this." So really, so what I did was I consulted, and I really just started with my friends and my parents.
Yeah.
And I went into their homes, we set it up, we did a contract. And really what I did was I went in and just reimagined their spaces with what they had. Made
Right.
some recommendations of things to purchase. But we went through the house and I dug through closets and I found this and I found that and you forgot about this over here. And we created—
Sounds like a TV show.
It really does, doesn't it? I think I may have done that TV show once or twice.
We're gonna get into that. Keep going.
But it was great fun, and it taught me, especially before I even went to work, how to deal with clients, how to be one-on-one with them,
Right.
and how to really sell what I'm selling, because at the end of the day we're salesmen, right?
And did your professor was super like supportive of this concept?
Very much so, very much so. Professor Sylvia Clark, and she was just a brilliant designer and a great professor.
Oh, that's amazing. And where were you in school? Where was it?
I went to Drexel University in Philadelphia. They have an amazing interior design program.
Yep.
Yeah, their approach always was, still is, that if you don't have great taste, we can't teach it to you. But what we can do is we can make sure that you know how to be a professional in this industry every day, work as a professional.
Right.
And so it was a very technical program. We got into the creative portion of it later, like after sophomore year, end of sophomore year. And then they combined the two, the profession with the design.
Got it. That's really great.
Real good.
Yeah.
Real
That's
good.
fabulous. Yeah, I went to Syracuse University. It was a great program. I love it. I've gone back as a visiting professor. It was really fun to have that experience. Yeah, it was really cool. So how long? So now you graduate from Drexel with an interior design degree. Now, what did you incorporate and all that? And it was a real legit company.
I did it right then because I had not incorporated as part of the senior thesis project, but I did it right after that because I wanted to go to work. The other thing about Drexel is they have this work study program. So we worked in the industry. We went to school year round. We went to school year round with semesters of work and semesters of school. We did trimesters in the class and then a semester of work. And we were paid. This wasn't internships. We were paid. We were in the industry. So I was ready to move forward with that. I had been offered a job with a company I had been co-oping with, but I decided I had nothing to lose at that point.
That's amazing.
So I started with a really great project that came to me through some friends, and it was a hospitality project, so it was a big one, and it gave me that.
Wow! Right out of school, was that intimidating?
Right out of school.
Were you scared?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I don't think I was smart enough to be scared.
When you almost don't, when you don't know enough. To be
right. I was too naive to be scared.
What could go wrong?
Exactly. It's just decorating people. Get with it. But it went well, and I've been hustling ever since. That was a long time ago, actually.
Really funny. That's great. And were you proud of that project? Did you love it?
I was really proud, and I have to tell you, so here I am, this new guy fresh out of school. I needed to make all the money I could. So not only did I do all the design and theory and business in school, I actually took extra courses from their fashion design program, because I wanted to be able to talk to my upholsterer and my drapery maker and know what I was talking about. So for this project, I made every drapery panel, every pillow, every bed skirt, every window treatment, anything I could make myself. So I would work during the day in the office, and then I was literally like feeding fabric through the sewing machine at night.
Oh my God, so you actually knew you were making some of your own products.
I was actually making product, yeah. So for that, and what just so you know what they were, was we were doing model homes for a developer. He was a resort developer, so we were doing the lobby in the resort, and at the same time I was doing a group of models, the condominium models that they were selling. And so that's where I made every drapery and every pillow. bed skirts and balloon shades. And
That's incredible.
it was pretty good. I was like taking the wood poles and I was painting them in stripes, anything to, make it unique. And it was, yeah, it was crazy.
That's insane.
But I got to keep all that money. So instead of paying the seamstress. So
that is unbelievable. Well, I love that. Okay, so that's amazing. Now, I love that. That's a great story. I love that you're so hands-on. It doesn't surprise me. Knowing you, that does not surprise me. So interesting. So when you had your internships, how many internships did you have while you were studying?
I had 3. So your freshman year, we went to school all year, and then sophomore year, so you did 4 semesters straight through, and then you started with trimesters of school and 1 of work. So, and I worked in the same firm all 3 co-op experiences.
And did you do the same thing with the firm each time?
I could have interviewed for other firms, but they wanted me back, and it was.
And did you do the same thing each time, or did you kind of progress, or did you go into?
Well, the reason I stayed at this firm is because I had such an amazing opportunity to actually design. It wasn't just working in the library pulling fabric samples or whatever. I was actually drawing and doing designs and going to presentations.
It's so funny. My experience. So I interned at Parrish Hadley, and I was able to work in the architecture office and drawings, which was really great. And then I was also able to go shopping for things that basic things they were looking for like a tile for a guest room and bathroom. Or they were like, we see this rug, it's out of stock. Can you go find us some other stuff like that? Which was great. Then of course I organized the fabric room, and then I helped out with the book, and then I helped.
The truth is, it's a very worthy job for anybody starting out. If I had that opportunity in Parrish Hadley, I would have jumped at it.
It was really cool. It was amazing. Yeah, that was a cool.
You got to know the product, right? How can you design if you don't know the product?
Yeah,
so and totally having that opportunity.
And also, what I love about everything you're saying is just, God, you were so passionate, which is so much of what I look for when I'm talking to young people, or even people that that are more senior, that are looking for a job. And when I interview with them, the thing that I take away the most is are you passionate? Do you love what you're doing? Is it something you can't help but do? You know what I mean? Are you thinking about it all the time? So that's really cool. I love that. So you kind of worked for other designers while you were in school. So when you came out of school and you opened your own company, did you ever work for other designers at that point? You've always been.
No, I never have. It's funny. Here I am 35 years later. And every single day I get out of bed and I think how lucky I am, and I love what I do. And I've done it all on my own terms. I've made my own mistakes and my own successes, lots of mistakes. And
any good mistakes that you want to let us know about that were really good?
Oh my God. Okay, first of all,
it was a crazy moment, but you learned from it.
you know that one, measure twice, cut once.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is measure 3 times, cut once.
Measure.
Always. There's no better way to move forward and get it right than, of course, creating a plan. I'm shocked at how many designers sort of fly by the seat of their pants.
It's right. Yeah. You know what drives me crazy? I know you're gonna. So when designers in my office, there's something drawn in the plan, and then they choose something that's not that size. And they don't even sketch on it to make sure that
it doesn't, that it fits, correct?
You either have to have the architects in the office redraw it to make sure, or just sketch on it, with a scale. But I'm a nervous wreck. I'm even when it's only 6 inches long, whatever, I'm okay.
It makes a difference.
We should still get in the habit of doing that, because you really
it makes a huge difference. But Tom, one of the things, and I think I've even talked to you about this over the years, and that is that my biggest takeaway from the early years was learning to take control of the job. When I was younger and a little more timid, I let the clients dictate what I was doing or how I was doing it. I allowed the contractors to give their opinion, things like that. And what it really does is just cause confusion. At the end of the day, you've hired me to do the job, and you've got to trust me. And if you don't, then I can go, because look, I have other people waiting for me who do. I'm going to hold your hand through the process, but you can't get in front of me. You have to look over my shoulder. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
staying in control and always being the guy
Yeah.
at the top is the only way for us to be successful. What we do, make ourselves happy, make our
Right.
clients happy, and
I
make
agree.
money. I mean,
I
we're
agree.
here to make money.
And also get it done on time and get it done
On time, on budget.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and also and be happy with what it's becoming. You know,
Yeah.
and every client's personality can be different, but I do
Yes.
think overall you do have to stand your ground.
You do. You do.
Yeah.
It's not
And,
about.
and by the way, you also have to let clients win every once in a while.
Absolutely. Listen, it's not about me dictating, you
Yeah.
know, what's going to happen, but it's about me being in control
Yeah.
of the situation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
ultimately it's their home. And I accept that. I like to say, look, you can fire me any day you want, but until then, get the hell out of my way, okay?
Yeah.
But ultimately you have all the control. You can fire me whenever you like.
Yeah, that's so funny. I love that. That's good. And I do think that's great advice, especially for young people starting out.
Yeah.
To know that,
It's
there's
not
a
about
process.
arrogance.
It takes a minute to get to that place, but when you get there, you have to really.
Yeah, it's that when you realize I'm not happy, they're not happy, the work is not great.
Yeah.
I'm not making the money I could make or should make.
Yeah.
And also a realization that what I'm talking about is not arrogance.
Yeah.
It's about professionalism.
Right, I agree. And you've been saying that ever since the beginning, so I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, okay, so now you were in Philadelphia for how long? How many years?
Oh
were you
my
in
goodness.
Philadelphia?
So I would say like the first 5 or 6 years, maybe 4 or 5 years after I graduated,
Yep.
before I was already working with my eyes pointed west. And I was
Really?
already doing work in Chicago. I was going back between Philadelphia and Chicago on a monthly basis. And then
And why were you looking west? What was what?
I just always, frankly, I
preference?
wanted the West Coast. I wanted the weather and I wanted the sunshine. And I'd rather be traveling east to work than traveling, west. And living here, I always, believe me, I travel a huge amount for work. And just like you, and I'm always so happy to get home and see the mountains and the sunshine and the palm trees and the
That's nice.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. So I first expanded my offices and my home to Chicago. I moved to Chicago, and I lived downtown Chicago, and I loved it there. Still miss it. But while I was there, I started working with a lot of clients on the West Coast, namely here in Palm Springs. A lot of Chicagoans come to Palm Springs for the summer, for the winter.
Yes, right.
And that's how it happened.
How long? And you were in Chicago for how many years?
I only lived in Chicago for 2 years, but I had been working there for about 5. So,
Only 2 years, and you were working there for 5. Okay, wow, that's cool. That's amazing. And then from there, so you were in Chicago. So where did you live in Chicago? Did you love it?
Okay, I lived in the greatest place. It was a converted warehouse, so there were lofts, it's brick walls and fireplace and wood floors, and a balcony that, by the way, had a view of the merchandise mart. So
that's hilarious.
I could walk across the bridge into the merchandise mart.
Oh, I know exactly where you were. Yeah, I know where you were.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yeah,
and
I would walk to the river.
Yeah, I would walk to my gym every morning, and Oprah was there, and Nate Burkus was there, and so it was it was a great experience. Great experience.
Yeah. So so now and is that how you connected with Nate? And is that how? Because I know you did.
American
before
Dream
we get
Builders.
to that, before we get to that, so I wanted. So now you get to Palm Springs, right?
Yeah.
So how old are you when you got to Palm Springs?
How old was I? Good Lord. I think, let's see, I've been here for 20 to 30. I was about 32, 33. Yeah. And I'm 56 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're an official Palm Springs fan?
Yeah. At this point, I'm a Southern California guy. So yeah. It'll be 23 years.
That's amazing. Yeah. So that's the official. I think you have to live somewhere. I think it's like 15 or 20 years, and then you become.
That's what they told me when I got here. They had the minimum of 15 years.
Minimum, somewhere between 15 and 20.
Yeah. So now
I'm officially a New Yorker at this point.
It's officially home.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is amazing. So everyone's wishing you a happy birthday. That's hilarious.
Ah, that's very sweet.
Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
everybody.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can't believe
I
today's
love
your,
my
wait,
birthday.
today, is it really today?
It is really today. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were kidding. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I
Happy
know.
birthday.
Yeah, Laura found
So
out. I
wait,
told
are
her,
you
don't
doing
tell him.
anything
Don't tell
special?
him.
Are you doing anything?
Having lunch with my business partner and our assistant, which is always
Yeah.
very, very special. They both makes
awesome.
it always very special holidays. And
That's
birthdays.
amazing. So,
Yeah.
okay, so this is a good segue because so tell me a little bit about, you started your business when you moved to Palm Springs from Chicago.
Yeah.
You started your business did you start it initially with your partner?
No, I was already here and doing business, of course, and still in the Midwest and back east and gearing up here. And what happened is Bo and I literally met at the gym. He moved from the East Coast as well, from Connecticut. And we met, we both moved here literally in the same month. Didn't know
I
each
feel
other.
like I've met Bo.
Yes, you have. You
Yes,
know him.
yeah, I love
So
Bo.
you just saw
I
him in
know.
Dallas. So
Yep,
he,
he's great.
yeah, and we were just friends through the gym, and I was really busy and needed help. And I kept saying, sort of joking, like, oh, why don't you come to work with me? Come to work with me. And finally one day he said, okay, how about Tuesday? And that was 22 years ago. And as it turns out, he's also very creative and has a background in creativity and creative work and management. He started out basically in a position of being office manager, and then we talked and he said, I'd really like to do some design. And over the years, he started that. And at this point, just 2 years ago, I said, look, there's nothing else we can do here except put your name on the door. You've earned it. 18 years later, you've earned it. 20 years later, you've earned it. And it's honestly the best thing I've ever done. I should have done it sooner. So he and I are full partners in the firm. He has his own clientele. I have mine. We help each other. I'm his assistant. He's mine. And then we share assistants. And we do it all.
That's great.
It's great. It's interesting, the change in the way people perceived me or perceived the firm with two men at the helm. Somehow people saw it as bigger or more professional. Or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And what did it make life easier for you in terms of travel, in terms of just...
It really does. I still do most of the travel. And as Bo always says, anytime he can get out of even going to market, he jumps at it. So that's why him coming to Dallas when we were all just there together was such a big deal. And
That's hilarious.
yeah, but we do it. Somebody has to be here. We were both supposed to be in Florida this past week, but because of COVID and things are going on in the state, and because we're so busy here, we just made the decision that somebody has to stay. Yeah. So I'll be going to Vegas by myself next week. He'll be joining me during market, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So we keep it easy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, wow, that's really cool. So you guys are over 25 years ago, you and Bo. So you guys
22, almost 23.
Oh, over 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is. Most people think we're married. I guess we kind of act that way at times.
I kind of was, it's so funny. The last time I saw you guys, I was like, oh wait, maybe that's his boyfriend.
You're right. I get that a lot. He gets that a lot.
Yeah. So tell me, what are some of the advantages and some of the challenges of doing that?
It's interesting because it was always me. It was always my face. It was always my name on the door. And I was worried. I was worried about losing that, or maybe not so much losing it as diluting that brand. But it hasn't happened at all. It has made it much stronger, which was a great revelation and something I'm really grateful for. Because one of the best parts about that is that having that, it's not just somebody sort of on my team agreeing with me, it's somebody backing me up whose name is also there. And by the way, and he can disagree with me and I can disagree with him. And so that's been really, really wonderful. So that perception that people have. What challenges, I don't know. Look, Bo has always been my sort of conscience when I'm designing. I can spend days on something and it's all pinned up, we're redoing it, and I can stick something on at the last second, and he'll walk in and say, "What the hell is that? What were you thinking?" And because he knows that it was an afterthought. So
that's hilarious. That's great, though. I do love that. I mean, I do think that, understand, that's a great advantage, right? Do you think? To have that?
I do.
What are the difficulties of what are the difficulties of here? Let me ask you. I'm being asked a question right now. Which one do you like better?
Oh.
I think I like. Wait here. The mirror
Oh
guy.
my God. Are you holding? Would you hold that for 1 second?
I think the one that's more gray.
Let me show you.
This is Smith. Say hi. Have you ever met Smith?
Can I show you
Have
this?
you ever met Smith?
Hey guys.
Okay. Also, and we're installing this right now at a country club.
Are
in
you?
the desert.
Let me see yours. Let me see yours. Show me yours. I'll show you mine.
And it's
I like
more
yours.
of a, it's a
wow,
brown.
so we've actually done that. Yeah, with the grout. Yeah, it's nice. We've also done it with like the safety glass, which is really cool.
We're doing it on a fireplace.
Yeah.
And then let me show you the surround tile. So,
okay.
And we're surrounding the opening, the opening in this painted tile. So,
oh wow!
So we're doing one row of this all the way around, and then horizontal bricks. It's an asymmetrical fireplace, so we're running the mirror on one side up to that.
Nice.
And that's really
cool. Is it what period is the house?
It's a country club, and this is for the clubhouse. We're doing all the facilities, but the clubhouse is part of phase 1. And the building was built in the early 70s. It's very what I term California contemporary of that period. So over the years, it had been sort of tried to make it traditional and sort of bastardized at the time. And so we just stripped everything out of it, and we're starting fresh, a clean California 70s contemporary.
Let it be authentic.
We're doing lots of fun. You saw Tequila, and we're working with Cambria again with lots of surfaces. And we're working with, if designers are out there, they know Nick Lane out of Miami. He's doing all the custom chandeliers and pendants, and then we're doing every piece of upholstery and chair and banquette. So everything is custom. So we're installing next month, God willing.
That's awesome. Wow, good.
It's been a busy summer.
Oh, by the way, doing custom right now is a great way to sort of get through all of this.
Yeah. It's the only way to get the product at this point. And even then you're going to wait. But
you're still going to wait. Yeah, they're busy too. And so how do you guys you guys each have your own projects. Do you do some projects together?
Yeah, well, somebody has to head each project, right? And so there are projects where he is the lead and projects where I am the lead. And really, for me, I like him to be involved because his opinion is so worthy. And it's very meaningful to me. On his side, it's more like he pulls it all together and then says to me, let me show you what I'm doing. And we chat about it. I like him to pop in and out while I'm designing and say, what do you think so far? What do you think? So
that's nice. I love that.
Agree. So
do you guys have a similar aesthetic, or is it you guys have different points of view?
I would say so. Mine is probably a little more how can I say this and still keep it masculine? Glamorous.
That's hilarious.
And his is definitely more of a masculine approach to product. And although he brings in those elements where you mix it to make that gorgeous sort of hybrid.
Hybrid, right. Well, it's also, it seems like a good balance. I mean, that's
it really is. It really is. Even when I'm doing product, it's really important for me to lay it all out and say, let's talk. Show me what you look, because I've been looking at it for too long, right? And sometimes I can't see the forest for the trees. And tell me what turns you on. Tell me what turns you off. And so it's really
amazing.
Good to have somebody.
Which one of you is easier to work with?
Oh my God, me. No, I think you'd have to ask the clients that.
The what?
You'd have to ask the clients that.
That's so funny.
Listen, here's our philosophy though, both of us for the firm. If you're not having fun spending all this money, then there's something wrong with the process.
Then you're not doing it properly.
Yeah, so let's.
By the way, I agree with you. Why are you not having fun?
Why are you not having fun?
Sometimes, every like 6th or 7th new project, it's someone who just doesn't enjoy the process.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because sometimes I feel like I'm cursed, but you get these like several really great ones, and then you get this one that just is really like, what about these ashtrays? My God, it's just an ashtray. What? Calm down.
You're like, you don't even smoke. So wait a minute.
Right.
Okay. So, and what was like what was the first project where you felt like, oh my God, this is like you guys worked together, that you felt like was like a springboard for your relationship? As like you knew it was
for us. Yeah. We had started a project, and it was here in the desert. It was for a Canadian couple. It was their winter home, so we had to do turnkey, soup to nuts, right down to the dishes and pots and pans, and everything. So that's a huge undertaking, and we had to do it in 5 months. We gutted the house, and we redesigned it, all custom furniture, everything, and they were moving in 5 months. We had to be done. We have a great crew here.
Right.
And so, though I was doing drawings and laying out, we prepared the presentation, there was no way that job could have gotten done without 2 people at the helm. And that was the game changer. And it was really at that time, right after that, that we sat down and said, this is something really different, and we have to go. We have to move forward.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. So now, okay, so you were living in Chicago. You met probably Nate Berkus at that point, and Oprah and all.
No, I met Oprah. I hadn't met Nate.
Okay, you didn't. Okay. And so then, how did you? I know at one point you guys, with your company, while you were, you partners with Bo, you started working on as a contestant on American Dream Builders.
Right.
Nate Berkus was the host of.
Right.
Tell us about that, how that came about, why you did it, what they
it
how
came
long
about,
you dated Nate.
Yeah, I got approached by NBC to do the show. They had already bought the show. There was no host yet. They were talking to me about it, saying, we'd really like you to sign on to do this. We're moving forward with it. Actually, your name came up. You were one of the people being considered, apparently, at the time to host it. And I was like, oh, God, yeah, I hope so.
See, it would still be on TV if I
No
did.
offense. Yeah. Oh, God, did I just say that out loud? Yeah. But anyway, I had done a show on Showtime called The Real L Word. So The L Word was a scripted series about the fabulous lesbians in LA.
Yeah.
And it was such a huge success for them that they did a reality version. And I did the first season of that. Like, I was the only.
You used to be a lesbian?
Honest to God, I was the only biologically male person with a mic. So that season. I was the only one with the junk who had a mic. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. And the girls that I worked for were actually friends who I had done projects for already. That's how it came about. And then, so I got this call later. I went in, I said, yay, let's do it. I have an agent, and we talked, and we'd always said no reality like contest shows. We're just not going to do it. But when NBC came to me, they said, we want you to understand what we're doing, which is it's going to be the first design show that is created for prime time on network television in HD. Now, because Queer Eye, don't need to remind people, but you were on Bravo. It was such a huge success that they put you on NBC too.
Right.
This show was actually created for prime time, and they, they were going to have the largest budgets. It wasn't about the contest as much. It was a design focused show. So we talked. We said, look, if I'm ever going to do a show like this, this should be the one. And I didn't. And so I was actually under contract to them for 2 years before we started filming. Which held me back from doing other projects, but I thought, this is fine. We'll make it work. And
I remember when you had that happening.
You were there. You were there.
I think you were just starting your
licensing,
your outdoor your licensing.
I was. You know what? I have to tell people that. You're going to think I'm just stroking you, but this was a big deal for me. So I started licensing about 8 years ago, and it was before the show. It was the first one. It was a big outdoor furniture line.
Outdoor furniture,
Yeah, and you and I had only recently met, and but you showed up to my launch.
Yeah.
And that meant everything to me. And it made me feel like, okay, maybe I am on the right track, right? And ever since that,
I love that you were doing that.
Yeah, no, and I loved it. You've shown up to other launches, and what happened is we signed on. The show finally started shooting in September or October of that year, and every day that we were on set. By the way, reality shows, 6 weeks they film a whole season. It took 4 months to film this, and we were there. It was brutal. It's the only way I can describe it. It was brutal. And we had to get so much work done. But what I did every day at lunchtime, we had 45 minutes with our phone each day. at lunch. I didn't eat lunch. I was on the phone with my licensing agent, setting up new licenses so that by the time the show premiered, I could launch product with it. By the way, a lot of that was just pure luck, getting product done and getting ready and launch. And so that spring in High Point, the show had just started airing, and we did a big airing show party for episode 3. And I was launching 5 different categories of product, and we had a great time. It was really
that's awesome.
Crazy.
What did you like about that experience of doing television?
Well, I will tell you that though a lot of it was really brutal, I wouldn't change it for anything. I think that the exposure from the show made the launch of the line something significant, other than just another designer with his name on something. I used it as a springboard. I think that a lot of people have the huge misconception that when you do television, all you have to do is sit on your butt and they serve you up on a silver platter like you're a celebrity now. That's not true. At least it's not anymore. The networks are in business to make money, not to make me a star. So it was up to me to use it for everything it was worth. And that's that. I figured I knew I had what it takes to win if I could get there, but I also knew it's reality television, and there's a lot of preconceived work that's going on behind the scenes. And I just said, all I really want to do is I just want to show up each week and do good work and look good. So I showed up with 17 suitcases. Is that something you still want to pursue, or are you done with that and moved on? I definitely am interested in it. I've gotten many calls since then, and I never say no to any of the meetings ever. But as you know, it's a crazy business, and I'd say it's more luck than anything. So I never say no to an offer or to a meeting. I have turned down a few offers. There were a couple of offers I really wanted that didn't happen, and I figured if it's going to happen, it will happen. I get the calls and I go. That's the way it works.
Hold on.
Okay. Hey, by the way, I'm liking those grays in the background.
What is that?
I'm liking gray number 3 in the background.
I know that's funny. So this was we had to halt this was going to get rebuilt, this whole room. And you guys should just put that over there. No. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's good there. That's good. There you go. You want to pick it up? No, it's okay for now. Anyway, so wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I did the show, and it was great. I've made some lifetime friends from some of the other designers, and everybody wants to know how Nate is. The truth is, we had very little contact with the judges. Once a week, basically, we had contact with them, and otherwise, we were just being brutalized. 17 hours a day, every day, and we were mic'd in on set by 6:30 every morning, and we were there until at least 9 o'clock at night. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. So where's that under eye concealer? That's
I know, which I could use right now. It's 5,000 degrees outside here in Florida.
Come to California.
Delivered. It's a real crazy town. So you did television. That was a really cool experience. You loved that. Yeah. You made the most out of it. But you were talking a lot about, I met you when you first started doing your product.
Yes.
And so tell me about what that was 8 years ago. Where are you with product now? Do you like that space? Is that something that you're continuing to grow with and work on? And tell me about your relationship with product.
I love doing product.
And why? Why do you love it?
Believe it or not, there's a freedom in doing product. Even though at the end of the day, it's all about what's going to sell. What does the consumer want? I get in a place where I can not only do a single product, but I get to build a collection, which is really fun. See, early on, and I still have, I have licenses in different arenas. So I have accessories here and art here and occasional over there. What I'm about to launch is something that I've been working toward for the 8 years, which is full lifestyle presentation. So kind of like what you do over there, which I love so much, where I can now build an entire room in the showroom, and literally everything you see is mine.
Yeah. And by the way, so I mean, like that's our kind of like, that's what we're doing. We launched rugs this market. So we're now working with Fazy on that, which I love our new rugs. And
I do too.
I was just in Dallas yesterday and the day before to pick out what we're doing and to finalize the designs for next market we're coming out at High Point with. And our rugs will also be at in Vegas. They'll be there. We have hardware. We have door hardware coming out. Which I don't even know if I'm supposed to say who that's with, but we have a whole line of beautiful new door hardware, which we're really excited about. And we're designing lighting now, which is really exciting. That's going to come out.
It's a great space.
October. Yeah,
it is.
That's a really exciting thing as well, and that we're going to look at all those samples very soon, which is nerve-wracking, scary, and exciting.
You know what it is, and you know I've reached that point now. Of course, we started this right before, like it was December, and the shutdown was in February. So I had to cancel my trip to China. Couldn't go to India. We had to design, and by the way, you know, it's 10 categories of product, over 250 SKUs, even just for next week, or going into over 300 when we go into High Point. But it is, you reach that point where the stuff is finally coming in and arriving, and I'm excited. But now I have a whole other worry, which is, will it sell? I will tell you that my approach to product is very different than most. You know, every designer I know wants their product line, right? And they all want to do the top 1%, 2% of product lines. I don't. I want a wide arena to buy my product. I said, when I started this, I went into all of my meetings and said, I approach product this way. I call it my 3 A's of product design, which is availability, affordability, and accessibility. So there's a lot of chatter in that space where we say style and value, but the truth is it's all the same product, and it's tired product. And it's a place where there's a lot of celebrity names like piling on for product. And so what I wanted to do was to use what I do with my clients, which is a much higher end design, and take that product, which we do one of a kind or create ourselves, and put it into a space where it's really accessible and affordable. And that's really what we're doing. And so I had this amazing opportunity with a company called Stylecraft. They're huge, they're global. And they gave me the opportunity to not only do this, but to help them grow. Because up until now, they've just been a piece company, lamps, occasional, some art and mirrors. What I'm doing now is bringing in every other category and building a lifestyle. So,
yeah, that's great. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Good.
So yeah, you know, I think that's really smart. I like that you're approaching it and you're making it accessible, affordability. You're making it, you know, you want it to be well designed, but you also, I mean, I do think that there's, you know, I think the very high end for product and the very entry level for product are, to me, two places that are a little strange. You know, they're like,
it is both sides. You're so right. Both sides. When I did my outdoor furniture, we're talking what, $4,500 for a lounge chair. And so that design was very different. That client was different. The presentation was different.
Say that again. How much was it?
$4,500 is what the retail was on the lounge, on a single lounge chair with a cushion.
So what would the wholesale be on that, or the designer cost? The designer cost.
You know, 50, like half of that, or 50 plus 10 kind of thing. And really what I want to do is I want products that all designers will use. Some of it may not be, you know, good enough, and some of it might be, but I want them to know that there's product there where they can also make money. I mean, at the end of the day, we're in business to make money. So it's not just about supplying the consumer, it's about supplying the design. And so that's what we're doing here.
I love that. Well, I feel like, you know, you had a really interesting diversification from media to product to brick and mortar design. Do you have, do you have a favorite? Do you think they cross-pollinate? Like, how do you feel?
Well, they cross-pollinate in a big way, right? But there's still a huge difference, a chasm between working with private clients and, say, doing appearances at the markets and talking to everybody all day and helping sell product, and or sitting down to meetings with your designs and going over and all of those things. And I love it. I really do love it all. That product thing, the shows, the TV stuff, I do love that ability to reach a really wide audience, a really big
Yeah.
audience. It's really exciting. And it's a lot of fun. And for me, at the end of the day, I tell all of my licensing partners, because they're partners, is that I'm here to make money. You've got to tell me. I can design anything you want, but you have to tell me, will it sell? This isn't an ego trip for me. This is a business. And
Right,
you know, in licensing, it's tough. It's a tough business. It's not easy to make a lot of money, and you have to do it through volume. And so putting out, I intend to be at over at least 600 SKUs with Stylecraft by next spring.
Yeah.
And that's
Let me
that's
ask
where
you,
it needs to be.
walk us through your various licensed products.
Okay, so
furniture and case goods or Stylecraft.
yes, well, Stylecraft is going to be upholstery, occasional furniture, case goods, pillows, throws, accessories, lighting, both table and electrified, mirrors, art. Um, what's the 10th? There's another one. So there's 10 there. I also do and have had since the very beginning a very successful art line with the Phillips collection.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's like wall art, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yeah, big sort of three-dimensional. The Broken Egg collection is my best-selling thing ever.
Yeah.
The steel beams, the feathers, the masks, all of these things have been great product with them for me. They also are a company with a global reach, so and they know how to promote and so we've done amazing work. I've literally walked into hotels around the globe and seen my eggs on the wall, whether it's behind the reception desk
Great.
or in the elevator lobby.
I love your eggs. I really
Thank you.
do. Yeah. Do you also do the egg tables?
Yes, yeah, we do.
I love those.
That's part of it.
I've used those in hotels.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just an exciting product, and the idea behind every one of those pieces for Philips, and it's partly the way they do business, is that I wanted to create something that the designer or the consumer can then create something unique for themselves with it. Pieces that move around and scatter and play.
Yeah.
They're
Then
meant
you can
to
put
play.
your own sort of spin on it. That's
Exactly.
really cool.
Exactly.
That.
And so that's been really great. I also have a line of accessories and what will be coming for fall, a line of botanicals for A&B Home. And I do accessories and occasional furniture with them as well.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're signing a new rug line. I did rugs before with Leloy, who I loved working with, and they're great and professional. And we didn't end it. It was sort of a mutual thing where I liked them, they liked me. We did great, but they were going big time into celebrity with Magnolia and Ellen. So they sort of let all of their design licenses go. You know, no heat, no judgment. It's business. I still do a great deal of business with them. But we're looking for a partner in the rug category because it's the only home category I don't have at this point.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's a great.
I'm ready. We're working on it.
I'm really enjoying working with Daisy. They've been unbelievable. So
they're such a great group. I would. If they've got you, they don't need me. But
you never know.
I want, because again, I need and want my rugs in that category of affordability and accessibility. So I'm looking for certain types of rugs. And we have a collection that we're discussing now, not with them, with another company that we're signed with. But I really need rugs that are in line with the rest of my product.
Right.
I found there was a time when I had licenses going like this in price point, and they really need to be together to tell a story.
I think it's also great when sort of a home collection really sort of speaks a similar design language as well as sort of
I want to tell a story. It's a story of who I am as a designer now, as opposed to just doing product. I will tell you, I've been so inspired, especially at High Point, where you have had the space to really spread out and do your vignettes of upholstery and case good and occasional. And so, you know, even as designers, when we go to market, we're looking at so much and there's overload. We still have to be inspired. The presentation is still everything. So
Yeah,
when you've got a line like yours where you're given that opportunity to say, it's not just a sofa and a chair and a coffee table and an end table. This is who I am as a designer.
right.
This
It's
is
a lifestyle, it's a
data.
point of view, it's a philosophy.
Absolutely. Those Clismos chairs you do with the
Yeah.
leg and all. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's already iconic, and that's
Yeah.
really what I'm looking for in a different price point category.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I love
that's
it.
great.
Well, okay, so I have one last question for you.
Okay.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
So last question is, how would you describe your style?
My style is very much, and our style is very much eclectic.
Yeah. Ooh, wait, you went silent. There you go.
Sorry
Oh,
about
wait.
that. I was getting a call from India.
Oh, got it.
I'll have to make them wait. So what we do is very personalized. I have never wanted to be that designer that says, this is my style and everybody gets a version of it. So we
Right.
run the gamut from the most contemporary and modern to the most traditional and, classic. But what I do is I make sure that we infuse it with style, both ours and the personality of our clients. And that's why the product line too, I'm not doing one style. I'm actually doing style categories, and we're building completely different rooms, coastal rooms and country rooms and city rooms, contemporary and traditional rooms, and then showing people how to mix it all up, because that's really what life is about. It's about high and low. It's about mixing it up. It's about creating personality.
Right.
I have never been the guy who wanted somebody to walk into one of my rooms and say, oh, did you hire Dan? This is great. I want them to walk into one of my rooms and say, my God, this is gorgeous. Who'd you work with? And that's always been my goal. Sometimes to my detriment, selling a single style is easier. But I want to be inspired every day. I want to be excited every day. So I want to mix it up. And I'm grateful to my clients for allowing me to do so.
Well,
Check
that's
out my
fabulous.
website.
Dan, you're amazing. I love you.
You're amazing.
First of all, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
This is exciting. When are you guys going out and having a toast to your
lunch?
birthday?
Yeah. Well, in a little while. Yeah, we're 3 hours earlier than you.
Yeah.
So in just
it's
a
only
little
11.
bit.
But,
yeah. This was my big birthday present, Tom. Getting on air with you.
Well,
it really was.
Happy birthday. Thank you
Love
so
you.
much for doing this. This has been so much fun. You're amazing.
I'm the one thanking you.
I love hearing your story. I know I'm going to get so many thank yous from people to upload this in the future saying how great this was, because you're amazing. I love it. It's really inspiring to hear it for myself, but I know it's going to be inspiring for other people. So thank you for doing this. Thanks for watching, everybody. And thanks to everybody who uploads. And big kiss.
Love you. Bye.
Have a great day. Happy birthday. Lots of love. And I will see you at High Point.
I'll see you in October, if not before.
Yeah, we'll have a cocktail.
Absolutely.
And a belated birthday cocktail. Okay. Big kiss.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.